Joining us now, she's in her second season as head coach at Miami, coming there off an incredible weekend up in Columbia where they went undefeated, beating Missouri twice, beat Wichita State. They're 14-4 on the season, fresh off a 36-win season last year, included the MAC championship. It's her third time on the In the Circle D1 softball podcast. We've got a catching up to do here, ladies and gentlemen. I speak of our friend Mandy Gardner Colgate joining us here at In the Circle at D1 softball. How you doing?
Yeah, doing well. Excited to be in again and catch up and just talk about Miami softball and what makes our team so special.
Well, let's talk about this past weekend right off the bat. Going up to Columbia, playing Missouri at their park, playing them twice. You have some weather issues that changes the schedule. You play Wichita State, and you come away undefeated there. What's your kind of thoughts here coming out of Columbia there with some impressive wins?
I mean, for us, we just try to focus on what we can control and playing Miami softball. So we want to play loose and confident and for each other. And we know that if we're firing on all cylinders, we can stack up against anyone in the entire country. So as long as we're playing our game, we have a pretty good shot to beat anybody. And that's kind of what we did this weekend. It was really fun to see.
Yeah, the resume kind of breaks it out. You started out west, beating Minnesota twice. You beat the host team, San Diego State, at their park in week one. You went to Bowies Creek where you played and beat Iowa. I think you know them a little bit. And then you come out here, beat Missouri twice at their place, and beat Wichita State. Where is this a result of the continuation of the winning the conference title and the confidence you built from last year? What do you make? Where does this confidence come from? Where you're right, you're matching up here against some Power Four schools.
I mean, I think myself and my whole staff really try to instill confidence in our players and again can compete against anybody, whether it's one of our pitchers can compete against the top hitters in the country and just trusting their stuff, or in the box as a hitter we can hit anything. I mean, we train really hard. We are kind of built in failure. We put them through a lot of competitions, a lot of failure exercises to see how they respond. And so when the game time happens, it's easy for them. And it's been cool to kind of see our recipe, I would say, that we use be successful kind of right away. And just, from freshmen to proven players to transfers that we have in our lineup. I mean, 1 to 9 right now, we're really strong. And then we have some off the bench too that we have full confidence coming off the bench and getting a job done as well. So we just harp on the little things a lot. We have fun doing it. We try to play as loose as we can. As a staff, we are pretty laid back. We get on them when we need to, but we let them be them. And, we outwork our competition all the time. I've never been around a group of young ladies that just grind. I mean, our hitting building is used all day, every day. It is crazy to me. And when we go to these other schools, we use their machines, we use their machine balls, and their balls almost look brand new. We got a whole new slew of balls in the fall, and we're gonna have to order new ones because the seams are gone off them, they're worn out, they're starting to break. And that's just because they're in our hitting building all the time. They put so much extra work into it, and it's really cool to see all of their hard work transfer onto the field and have success for the team. And so it's just been really special. It's been really fun, and we can't kind of wait to see what happens the rest of the season.
All right, you bring up the offense, so we'll start there with the offense hitting over 300, 313, I believe, as a team. Talk about the identity for those that maybe haven't watched your team play yet or going to see your team play later on as the season plays out. Talk about the identity on this offense and some of the players that makes the offense go.
I mean, I think for us, we are extremely aggressive. We're fast on the bases. We push the limit on that for sure. But as an offense, we want to make sure that the pitcher doesn't bring it in the zone. And if they do, we're going to basically make it hurt. So that's the thing that we focus on. We don't like taking pitches down the middle. We like them to be aggressive. We like them to swing in 3-0 counts. We like it, which is a rare thing for coaches to kind of say. But we want them to be aggressive, and we want them to take their hacks. If they strike out, they strike out, but at least they're going down swinging. And that's something they kind of had to learn. Through the first 2 weekends, we were seeing a little bit of defensive swings, and I feel like now our home run numbers are starting to go up and our extra base hit numbers are going up just because we're letting them swing and swing hard. Again, on the bases, we have, just aggressive base runners. There's times we'll lay down bunts as well. I think we've laid down 3 or 4 squeezes already this year as well. So, and we have a ton of people that can bunt for a hit. Katie Olive's one of them. I believe at Campbell, she hit a home run, and then the next at bat, she dropped a bunt for a single. So she's one of our fastest players. She pushes it on the base paths, and so you just never know what to expect with us. Like we're not trying to hit the home run. We're trying to hit gap to gap doubles and just hit it hard and have quality at bats. We talk about it a lot. They are the team's at bats. So they're not our individual players at bats, it's a team at bat. And so if you get a job done, you've helped the team. And so we constantly try to feed into that. And they've just bought in. They're extremely selfish. Whether we ask them to get a bunt down, even if they're hitting 400, they're going to do it. If we pinch hit for someone that's struggling that game, let's say this weekend we pinch hit for Bailey, who's I think batting like three in the 300s right now. We pinch hit for her, and her first thing was to go up to her teammate that was pinch hitting for her. Hey, you got it. Gave her information, and it was just really cool to see all of that kind of transpire. But from an offensive standpoint, we started her in the nine. She's probably like the best nine-hole hitter in the country. We moved her up to the one, and she has done absolutely just tremendous in that leadoff spot. She brings back a ton of information back to the dugout. She's constantly hitting the ball really hard. Her home run numbers kind of speaks for themselves. And she's a career like middle 300s hitter, a transfer from Purdue Fort Wayne. Unfortunately, they, cut their softball program. And so we kind of capitalized on that opportunity to grab her. But she's just a great leadoff. And then we got a couple freshmen like back to back to back in our lineup. So Mia Estrella, she's killing it. She doesn't strike out a ton. She swings hard. She's constantly putting the ball in play. Evie is also another freshman who is absolutely killing the ball right now. Had her first home run a couple weeks ago and then hit a big one against Mizzou, which was really special for her. So she can just go up there and just see ball, hit ball. And she is seeing it really well right now, which is fun. Denitza Hernandez is another one. She's just came off of MAC Player of the Week. We nominated her again this week, which is crazy to go back to back weeks, but her numbers were absolutely crazy this weekend. She didn't strike out once. She had a ton of RBIs. Her batting average was like 540, I think, something like that against really, really strong pitching competition. So those are kind of I would say our offensive people that are just doing really well. I mean, I could literally talk about all of them, all 17 of them, for probably a long time because they all kind of bring their own kind of dynamic, which is really fun. But yeah, it's been fun to just see them continue to hit and make adjustments from a bat to a bat and just person to person and their information and just their selflessness again, just making sure they're having good team at bats for Miami.
Yeah, no, to back you up on that, I mean, you got Hernandez, 5 home runs, 24 RBIs. Katie, 4 home runs, 16 RBIs on the season. Bailey, 5 home runs, 23 RBIs. I mean, everybody's contributing to this offense. Take me through your vision on how you built this offense. When you took over the program, there were some departures, as there always going to be with some coaching changes. They had an offensive philosophy of hitting for the big home run. You had obviously inherited one of them in Jenna Gulembutsky, who's now on your staff. Just take me through that vision, because I remember when last time we had you on, you were in the process of figuring out your staff. So take me through that process of rebuilding this offense and still being at a high level like it's always been, even if it's a little variety different.
So I think for us, I mean, last year when I got the job, it was so late. I was just trying to get people in here that I maybe could, like I kind of knew. Either I recruited them that were in the portal, maybe I played against them and thought they had a nice swing and could kind of develop that. And then with my staff, like could they develop it? So last year building what we had a smaller roster of 18. We kind of just grabbed what we could. When we graduated, the three that we did, in Jenna, Shelby, and Chloe, I mean, they had great numbers last year for us. Chloe I think led the country in doubles, set a new single season record for us here in doubles. Shelby was our leadoff and was just killing it. And then obviously Jenna had 20 plus home runs. So you can't replace that always. So for us, we were just trying to find proven players in the portal with a mix of, again, some of the players that I had recruited in high school that were in the portal that maybe didn't get an opportunity at their previous school that I knew, with the right coaching and the right development that they were going to be able to come in and be a big, strong contributor for us. So I think for us, it was just trying to replace a lot. And then the speed aspect of it. We lost a lot of our, I think we stole 67 bases last year and we graduated like 60 up or graduated or portaled out, I guess, like 60 of them. So left with seven. So I needed to get some speed as well, which we did with Katie, Bailey, some of our freshmen. Aaron Pinter's also gotten a lot faster. Carrie Kruger's gotten faster. So they're all having stolen bases as well now. And so it was just trying to figure out good athletes that could play anywhere. And so that mix of like proven and then that mix of like who can we develop that I really have like faith in and confidence in that they're going to get it done. And then our freshman class that came in and our seven that we got, that class we got really late because again, when I was got the job, a lot of the 2026s, right, were already off the table. We're about to sign. And so I just kind of had to talk to my travel ball coaches, go out and recruit and just kind of try to see who was left. And because I didn't really want to like rely on the portal necessarily, I knew we would have to go in there, but I also wanted some true freshmen to come in. And some of the ones we got, I mean, they're starting right now for us, right? I think we have three starting for us. So three out of the seven. So, and the other ones can contribute and do really, I mean, they could be starters at any point as well. So I think for us, it was just trying to get a mix of speed, power, proven, and then again, that confidence piece of like just some pieces that we really liked out of the portal.
Of course, you also have pitching. Everybody kind of has gotten to know Presley Hosek, who's off to a fantastic start as we talk. 6-2, 1.99 ERA. Let's start with her. I know it's not just about her, but she's gotten a lot of hoopla here. Talk about her and what she's brought.
Yeah, I mean, she is electric. Someone told me that when they watched her last week, I believe, and that describes her in a nutshell. She is electric. She is a competitor on the mound. Um, and she is one of one. I mean, she just is. There's a quote in our weight room that says a lion doesn't need to tell anybody they're a lion, and that is her in a nutshell. I mean, the way she handles herself on the mound, the way she just completely is so gritty when her back's against the wall, and things like aren't going her way or aren't going the team's way. She just bears down and honestly just gets the job done. And I think she's brought a lot of that grit and competitiveness to the rest of our pitching staff, which has been really fun. They've been able to kind of learn from her, and she's just fun to play her behind. Our whole team just stays so calm with her on the mound, and they do that with all of our pitchers. And I think she really sets the tone for us. She goes out, she throws strikes, she doesn't walk a ton of people, she doesn't hit a ton of people. So she's throwing it in the zone, and I mean, she's topped out at I think she hit 73 at Ole Miss. So she's throwing gas too. And we developed her changeup this year, which is just absolutely nasty when it's on. It's been kind of her strikeout pitch, which has been really fun. She's been throwing it in full counts, which she's never ever done before. So that's been great. We gave her a drop in. That's been a great pitch as well. And just pitching to her strength and getting her speed up. And again, she's one of one. She squats almost 400 pounds, which is just crazy to me. Like she's not a very tall person, or big person at all. So it's just funny that she's able to lift as much as she can and do as many push-ups and pull-ups as she can because she's just like a muscle, honestly. And it's just fun. It's just been fun. She's a competitor. And she's a great teammate. I think that's the biggest thing that like people don't realize with her. Like she is like the girl's girl. Like she is so hyped for her teammates. She's so hyped for the other pitchers. When Angelina got pitcher of the week the first week, I mean, she was like the first one to repost it, the first one to congratulate her, and the first one to just be so ecstatic for her. And I think that speaks like just absolute volumes that she celebrates her teammates. The way that she does, especially, just how humble she is with how good she is. And that's, I feel like a really rare thing these days. And so she's just a joy to be around. I know her teammates love her. Um, and she's, again, just a competitor. We had a hitting competition like 2 weeks ago at practice and she won it. Like that's, again, just her in a
Wow.
nutshell. Like she just is a competitor and she's not going to lose. And it's just been a joy coaching her and having her on the mound for us, honestly.
Do you have a comp for her, either with a player you coached, or a player you played with, or a player you went up against?
That is tough. That is tough. Hmm. That's really tough. She's competitive like Jordy Ball. Like she has that, but isn't as like expressive on the mound, I would say. But she has that same like prowl of like you're not going to beat me. So like that kind of competitor from a stuff standpoint, I feel like there's not a ton of drop ball pitchers these days. I feel like they're all rise ball, but the first person that comes to mind, and I don't know why, is Megan Good at JMU.
Yeah.
She had that as well and just had really nasty drop ball and a good changeup and got a lot of strikeouts, but also fed her defense a lot. So I think and just shut down innings when stuff wasn't going her way. So I would probably say her.
It's a couple good comparisons. That's a very good compliments, I would say, if Presley's listening there. Is
Yeah.
she one too? And you know this. There are certain pitchers that raise the level of their teammates around them. I'm
Oh,
assuming it sounds like she's one of them.
100%. Without even trying. Like without even trying. Like that's and I think again that's why she's one of one and that's why she's so special, right? Like when you don't even have to try to bring people around you and with you, you just naturally have that. I mean that's not taught. And so I think from day one, she came in on a brand new team with 14 new people and started bringing people along. And so, and not even just the pitchers. I mean, the whole team, the hitters, everybody. I mean, it's just, she pushes everyone no matter what we're doing. Again, we take the weight room really seriously. We lift a lot of weight, we push a lot of weight, and we run a lot, actually, a lot more than people probably realize from a conditioning standpoint. And she, again, just constantly is finishing first. She's first in running, she's first in lifting, she's first. I mean, that's her goal. And if she's not first, then she's not doing her job in her mind. And again, that's the whole bringing everybody around her without even trying. So, and people can see it. We have a manager that just traveled with us this weekend and he's been seeing our practices. And so he sees our practices and has been really impressed with her and stuff. But he was on this weekend he was on the road with us and he came over to me and was like, she is probably and he's been around other sports. He was a manager for our women's basketball team and just been around sports his whole life. And he literally told me she is one of like the most fun competitors I've ever watched. And I was just like, that's so cool that he said that, because I feel that and I feel like our staff and our team knows that, but it's cool that someone that's only been around a little bit noticed that right away.
I think I could sense it when I've watched you when I've seen you on the stream. She jumps out. She jumps
Yeah.
out, but she's not the only one in the circle. And I think that's what's impressive about your group is
Yeah.
you've got others. You mentioned Angelina. She was winning the conference pitcher of the week already this season. You got Leah there. You got three arms that you've depended on. Just talk about the rest of the staff
Yeah.
here that works around Presley because it keeps her fresh. And it's tough, to win games against the competition you're facing in the non-conference without having multiple arms.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so pleased. That was our number one goal at the end of last season was to get arms, right? That's where our downfall was last year, just not having depth in the circle. And so that was our number one thing. We've got Lily first from Cal Baptist. She's put up some really great numbers. She's been in relief a lot this year. And first relief, second relief, she's in the bullpen working, but our pitchers keep going complete games and throwing really well. So it's just been hard. So she hasn't been able to get in, but she's a great balance. She's more up, more spinny. And that's something she's our only kind of up pitcher. So she balances us up really well. If someone were to get in trouble, she's just kind of been stuck in the bullpen right now, which is unfortunate. But we're hopefully we're gonna get her some more innings, especially this weekend. And then yeah, Leia. I mean, she's coming off of a really great year. She threw a no hitter in the MAC tournament against Ball State, which that was her first career no hitter ever in her entire life. So what a great moment for her. And we don't win the MAC without her. We don't win the regular season or the tournament without her. She pitched some really big games for us last year. So I think having her pitch really well at the end of the season really helped her confidence through the summer. And then in the fall, right? She just worked her butt off. She's a senior, so this is kind of her last go around. And she's had just really great starts for us. I don't think she's lost a game yet. I think she's 4-0. And she just had just her confidence level and her maturity on the mound from last year to this year is, I mean, just exponentially better. She's grown up before everybody's eyes, and it's just been really special to see. She's also another super competitor. She absolutely hates to lose. And she gets fiery. You know, she's Canadian and she speaks French and she'll just go on a rant in French. Like absolute rant because she's pissed. And but she kind of turns that into motivation and drive. And, you know, even yesterday's game against Mizzou, like the zone was really tight for her, but she battled through it. I think last year at this time, she doesn't battle through that. So I think that's the thing that's really special that I see in her is I'm really hard on her. And she takes it and here's what I say and just adjusts and keeps working. And you know, having I think Presley in the bullpen, having Angelina, having Lily, having Shelby, and having Alex, we have six. I think just all of them learning from each other and having each other's backs is the biggest thing. And she knows that if she goes out and struggles this year, there's someone behind her to have her back. Or if someone's struggling in front of her, she knows that she's going to have their back. And so she's just been really throwing really well. She's again complements all of them complement each other. Presley throws a lot harder, so similar movement patterns and like a drop curve and a screw and a changeup, but Leia throws about probably 10 miles per hour slower. So it's hard. It's hard for hitters to adjust to that. But again, just really proud of her and just how much she's worked and poured into this. And she, you know, she got in the weight room as well and, you know, bulked up and she's definitely seen that, I think, in a stamina standpoint. She threw 152 pitches yesterday. She last year never threw that. I know that. I think her last year around 100, she would kind of start tailing off a little bit. So, and she was still, she could have gone a couple more innings yesterday. So that was really cool to see too, just her stamina. And she's really stepped up from a leadership standpoint as well. Just being here for a second year, being a senior. You know, she gets on the hitters when they don't get their bunts down. She gets on, you know, people when they're not doing what they're supposed to. And so it's just cool to see that even the pitchers can call people out and then our team, you know, receives it really well because they're doing what they're supposed to do and they work really hard too. So.
How much did your experience at Iowa? I remember when you came on, when you were just gotten to Iowa, and I remember we talked at length about how you inherited so many arms, that you've never had so many pitchers, that you had to develop and work with than you did when you got to Iowa. And that was an adjustment for you because you weren't used to having that many arms. And you ended up figuring it out, spoiler, and, you know, with some pitchers having to take reliever roles, starting roles. And I remember, I think you ended up improving that team's ERA from the year before you got there to when you got there about a run and a half lower. And honestly, probably got you on the map for this head coaching job, if we're honest with the job you did there. How much did that experience, though, having worked with that many arms, have helped you now realize, hey, I need as many arms, and I know I'm comfortable now working with as many arms?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I ever really want to go more than like seven, and that's if I have hitting pitchers. So right now I have six POs, so none of them hit, but except for Presley during hitting competitions. But we have six POs. But I think for me, it's just the development piece. You know, Angelina was another one I didn't get to really, you know, hit on. Her development was huge this fall. I mean, if you look at her numbers from Furman, and her hit, you know, her batting average against the power numbers against her, she was pretty flat and just kind of plated it, right? And so when we got here, it's like, okay, let's try to figure out some sort of spin profile for you. Like, what's been your best pitch your whole life? What do you think it is? And she's like, screwball. So we looked at her screwball and I was like, she can definitely throw a screwball. So we just fine-tuned that. We fine-tuned her drop ball. We hit her changeup a little bit because it was super pickable last year. So we just hit some stuff and just completely just kind of became a routine of hitting the spot over and over and over. She's very much a routine person and very much of a I just need to hit focus and hit the spot over and over and over and over and over and over. And so that was really successful for her. Whereas, you know, other pitchers might need more combo work. And so I think at Iowa, I was able to kind of experiment with a lot of that with having so many. I think we had nine when I got there. And again, some of them hit, which was nice, but some of them hit. But I think for me, it was just trying to figure out, okay, what works for every single person and just putting things in my toolbox as a coach. Like this worked for this person. Okay, let's try to figure out another way. Okay, let's try this now. That didn't work. Okay, I'm going to put that in my toolbox in case I get a pitcher later in my career that could work for. And I think just having that many pitchers and that much to work with really helped me now. Even last year when I only had three, right? Like just trying to figure out how to make them the best three that I could make them. This year, similar. Like, how can I make these six the best I can possibly make them? And so far it's worked out, you know? So I think it's the equation's kind of, bringing success. Um, and hopefully it will continue. I think for me, it's just I'm not cookie cutter. I constantly am trying to learn. I'm constantly trying to have communication with my pitchers on what feels good, what doesn't, how we can make things work. And so I'm constantly growing and evolving as a coach as well. I think that's a big piece. But yeah, I mean, a lot of those things that didn't work out ended up in my toolbox, and I'm pulling them out now here in Miami. So.
Well, you figured out this podcast game because you had an idea where I was going with this, which is what have you learned now since you've been the head coach now? This is your second season as a head coach here. You mentioned it now you're a head coach, so you can't just focus on the pitchers, you're focused on everything. So with that in mind, how do you make it work from a staff standpoint where you are, handling the pitchers, but at the same time you're watching the offense, you got to watch the defense. But what have you learned through this now as you're in your second season?
A lot. Um, Delegating things is like my number one thing I had to learn and kind of get better at. That's just something that as an assistant, I would get stuff and I would just take it and do it. And then as a head, I get stuff and it's like at first I would just try to do it all. And it's like, no, I have assistants to help me with this. And they know, like they would be like, hey, what can I help you with? And I'm like, nothing, nothing. And I think it's also I was learning them. And I trusted them from day one. And it wasn't that. It was more so I was just learning them and I didn't want to put more on their plate if I could just do it. Whereas like the year kind of got on, started giving them stuff. And now this year I can give them really anything and they're going to get it done. I know it's going to be done right. I knew that from day one. But for me, I think I trust my staff with everything. So, Emerald does our defense. We have conversations in the office, what we're needing to work on, what practice is kind of going to look like. But I really let her just take the reins, honestly, defensively. When it comes to our defensive play, she runs stuff through me, but I really let her take the reins. And then same thing with Liv. Our first conversation from an offensive standpoint, it's very similar to how I would teach hitting. And so I knew it was going to be a great fit. And again, I just let her have the reins. She coaches third for us. And I wanted whoever was running the offense to be able to run the offense how they wanted. And again, there's times like last year, she was a first time third base coach, right? So she was learning moments and different things. But for me, it's the same with our players. Like I want us to be aggressive and I want us to I would rather make us or make outs and make mistakes being aggressive than being hesitant and then looking back and being like, oh, I should have done this or I should have done that. And most of the time, there's been a couple times I'm like, probably wouldn't have stole her there just because we needed the base runner, like the aggressiveness, but just at this point in the game, maybe we do that earlier. And she's like, oh yeah, that makes sense. So we just have conversations, but I give them like, again, like very free reign on kind of both of those things. Then I just kind of oversee it and then I handle the pitching. And then adding Jenna was great because we get another set of hands and eyes and ears and everything. And she's, has loved Miami softball and everybody respects her and listens to her. And so she's really helping with the hitters and it helps Liv. I mean, she has 17 hitters. Um, so Jenna's really taken some of them and they help, she helps her create hitting plans. And again, just delegating things to her to get off of my kind of desk has been really great. And so I would say learning moments. I mean, the delegation thing's like the biggest thing. Um, and then I think sometimes I like forget I'm a head coach. I know that sounds weird. But I think sometimes I forget because what I say to our players, like even if it's just a small compliment, goes a long way because I'm the head coach. And I think I forget that sometimes. Like when I give them a compliment, they're like, oh my gosh, and I'm like, that's so weird to me because I've been an assistant. So that's where they still would appreciate my compliment, but I feel like because I'm the head, they like think the world of it. And so that's been fun. But and then something else I've learned that people told me, oh, you're not going to be able to do as a head coach, like have the relationships with your players. And I was like, watch me, because that's me in a nutshell is relationship-based coaching, relationship-based leadership. So, I've gotten to know every single one of our players, like on a personal level. And I can, there's days they just come in and say hi to me in my office. There's times they come in, with stuff that's going on personally, and it's cool that they feel comfortable enough to come to me with those things and figure out a solution. Um, And so I think for me, something that I've learned is also to not like if just because someone else says they can't, like this is how a head coach should look like, doesn't mean that has to be the end all be all. Like I'm still trying to figure this out. I'm a new, a relatively new head coach. I'm young, but I also think I fall back on relationships a lot and that trust piece, and that instills confidence and that honesty piece. They know where they stand at all times. And so I think for me, it's just continuing to grow and evolve as a head coach with my players and continuing to build those relationships because again, I could never imagine a team that I don't know all, like we have 23 this year, but all 23 on a deeper level. And I take the time to do that. And I think that's where people don't think it's possible is because of time. But if you make the time, then there is time. And that's where I put my time into because it's important to me.
No doubt, invest in it time wise, right? That's the key there. Describe last year. It was you mentioned you got in late, built the staff. You got to win the players over that they're getting to know you. They're knowing you. You're knowing them. Get off to a slow start in the season where a lot of people are like, well, it's going to be a rebuild, could be a transition year. Next thing you know, you figure it out. You win the regular season title, but you lose in the winner's bracket to Ohio and basically had to come out of the loser's draw. You go to Saturday, you got to beat them twice, a very talented Ohio team, and you're able to pull that off to win that championship. That's a pretty amazing. Just your first year. That's a heck of a first year to start with there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. It almost seems like a movie or something. I don't know. It gives me chill bumps, honestly. When I think back on it. Because at this time last year we were 5-13. And this year we're 4-4 or 14-4, excuse
Yeah.
me. And so it's just crazy to think like at this time last year we were like, man, this team is not used to losing. But again, it was our three seniors really stepped up. I mean, not a single person were pointing fingers. We were just again problem solvers. As a staff, we were meeting to problem solve and be better. As a team, they were meeting to problem solve and be better. And again, it was the selfishness. Sorry, selflessness. I can't speak today. Of just not pointing fingers and just trying to figure it out for Miami. And that's what really propelled us to then go, I think like 19-2. I think we went on a 19-2 run after that. Which was really special to see. And then yeah, we're like undefeated in MAC play, and then we like drop one, and then we kind of hit a lull in the middle of the MAC play. Um, but again, every kind of good team hits a kind of a slump in their year, and sometimes it lasts longer than others, right? Sometimes it's just a weekend, sometimes it's more. But at the end of the day, it was just let's just go back to the basics. Let's just go back to what we were doing in the fall. We had a bye week that right after that as well. And then I think we finished up at Bowling Green and then Buffalo. And then, yeah, Ohio, lost a few games that kind of propelled us up back to number one for a regular season title, which we never want to leave it in other people's hands. So that's kind of our goal this year is to not leave it in other people's hands. And then, yeah, go to the MAC tournament as the one seed. And yeah, we drop into the losers bracket. But, our players, again, all year, like when our backs were against the wall, it's almost like we needed that kick in the butt to like elevate to play better. And going into that Saturday, I mean, the whole morning was we're playing two today. Like that was just there was a feeling. That was the talk. I mean, not a single person doubted that we were playing two and we were going to be MAC champions again. And that was one of the coolest moments. And I know my staff and I have talked about this a lot of all of our coaching career. Like it was so special. Like we coming off the bus, like all of us knew we were winning two games. And it was just like this feeling, this aura, this business. And then we jumped, I think, to a 6-0 first inning off a Skip, who's a great pitcher, and really handed it to us in the regular season. So again, once kind of that happened, I was like, oh yeah, we're playing two today, and we're winning two, which is cool. And then just yeah, that was just really special. Again, it just gives me chill bumps. It's cool to look back and all the hard work that our players put in, that my staff put in, was all obviously worth it for that moment. And the belief was always there. And that's kind of what it is this year too. The belief's always there. we pour it into our players, the players believe it, and they pour it into each other. Um, and they just don't let anything stop them. And that's Miami softball. That's been Miami softball for a really long time. So
You win the title. What was it like when you hoisted that trophy?
pretty cool. I honestly, I mean, for us, like we always, that's the goal, that's the standard. Um, but experiencing it myself was pretty cool. I experienced it as a player. And at Grand Canyon, we won, the WAC, which was cool. But I think it's just different as a head coach a little bit, especially in like your first year and exactly what people thought was a rebuild year. And I kept telling people that rebuilding isn't a bad thing. It can still be positive and we can still win. And again, the belief of us winning was in our team. Like we didn't care what other people said. We didn't care if people said, "Oh, this is the year Miami falls. Oh, this is the year. This is the year." Our team was like, "No, we're winning the MAC." And we did. So, I think there's something to be said of having that confidence and continuously speaking it into existence and then doing everything possible to accomplish that goal. So, I think for me it was just cool because again, all the hard work, the blood, sweat and tears from when I took the job to like then for all of our players, from all of our staff, it was just a really special moment in my career and I mean, all my, again, my staff's careers and for our university. So,
You find out, you go to the regionals, you go to Knoxville. That's where you get sent against a very uber talented Tennessee team that ends up going to Oklahoma City with some pitcher named Pickens, among others. And you get placed in a very stacked regional with a North Carolina talented offense. And oh, yeah, Ohio State, the coach you took over for because, coincidence. Wow, what a coincidence, right? No storyline driven. What did you learn from that experience as a coach in that region, and what do you want your players, your returners, to learn from that experience in the regionals that you're going to apply moving forward?
I mean, that we can go in and beat anybody. And I know our first game against Tennessee was not what we had planned. But we left that game still planning to be there by Sunday. And just because we were locked in the losers bracket, just like we were in the MAC championship tournament, didn't mean we couldn't come out of that regional still. And there was belief again in our team that, hey, we're gonna get this done. And to lose like that and then to turn around and beat a really talented North Carolina team, that's Miami softball. Like you get punched and we punch right back. Whether it's in that same game or it's in that next game, like we will punch back and we will punch back harder. And so I think for us, I mean, I want our team to know like that is Miami softball, just like this weekend. Wichita State punched us first and we punched them back in that same game. And I think they're learning that, and that's Miami softball, and that's the standard. And so it's cool to reflect back on that. And then we just ran out of pitching. Like you can't go to regionals with three. And so it's just you just run out of steam, And again, we only had 18 on our roster, and um, from an offensive standpoint, we didn't have a ton of people off the bench either. So we ran out of steam. And, from that point on again was we got to get more depth. We got to get more pitching depth. And that was kind of our focus moving into this year. And I feel like this year, I mean, we've talked about super regionals. We talked about it last year. This year, I feel like we're talking about it even more extensively because we actually have all the pieces now. We have three legit arms that can throw against the best of the best. Clearly, we had two different pitchers pitch against, Missouri and beat them. Angelina threw against Minnesota and San Diego State, I believe. So, I mean, again, they're great offenses as well. And then from an offensive standpoint, we can hit the best pitching. This weekend, we saw some tremendous arms, and this was our best offensive weekend yet. I think we had three kids over 500 batting average this weekend, and 1 to 9 were all above 300. Like, unheard of against pitching the type of pitching we face. So, and those are all regional teams. Those are all postseason teams that we were facing this weekend. So if we're able to do that now, and we're only going to continue to get better and learn and grow and clean up some of our mistakes, by the time regionals rolls around, I don't know how many people are gonna want us in the regional, honestly.
No, no, that's fair, and
Yeah, which is great. Like we want that. We want to be that underdog and just to have that respect is really cool.
Plus, I think if you keep playing at this level and obviously win your league, you're probably going to be better than a 4 seed. Put it to that one. And if not, that's bad. That's bad news for whoever draws you up. But that's a whole other story. Uh, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask. You beat Iowa. You played Iowa at Bowie's Creek. We talked about this when you've been on previously. Obviously, you coached at Iowa, but it goes beyond that. You have family blood at Iowa. We talked about this. Was it awkward? Was it weird playing Iowa?
No, I wouldn't say weird or awkward. It was just kind of surreal, honestly. Like all the like there's just so many of those players are now seniors and it's weird for me that they're seniors. I'm like, where did the 4 years go? And then a lot of the freshmen that are there playing are players that I recruited there. So it was cool to see them like live out their college dreams and they're killing it, right? They're having a great year. And especially some of the freshmen that I got really close with in the recruiting, right? I got close to their families. And so, I always when you get close to I'm a relationship based person. When you get close to people, you want to check in and see how they're doing, right? You want to see how they're doing from a softball standpoint, right? And so I'm not that I'm like constantly looking at other people's stats, but I do check in to see what they're doing, see if they're doing well, because I want them to do well. Again, I want no matter who I recruited, no matter where, I want them to do well in their career, and again, just live out their college dreams because not a lot of people get to do that. And so it was cool, like scouting them. It was kind of that part would have been a little weird. Like, oh, do they still have the same hole in their swing that they did 2 years ago? And sometimes it was like, yeah, they do. But I think it was that part was like weird for me because I was like, man, I used to watch this every day at practice, and now I'm scouting them. But playing them was just surreal, and they were excited to see me. I was excited to see them, and their staff is great. I got to connect with Stacy when I was there because she was an alumni. So I'd constantly talk to her about Iowa City and just Iowa itself and the university. And so, I was just overjoyed that she was able to get that job. And I love when alumni get to coach at their alma maters. That's like my favorite thing ever as a coach. So was really happy with her. And then just like their staff is so cool. Bobby's great. I've worked a few camps with him and lives close with Fran. And so it was kind of like a reunion to see our friends as well, which was fun. And their athletic trainer is like one of my best friends. I'm like, it's crazy this weekend they're going to be at Ohio State. And I'm like, I want to come see you so bad. But we're obviously playing and I probably shouldn't go up there.
Well,
But
you got business to take care of, you know?
yes, we do have business. Yeah. Well, we're back Saturday night. But
Okay.
yeah, but she's one of like my best friends. And um, we're constantly talking and chatting just about life and stuff like that. So it was just good to see her.
Fair.
And it was a crazy reunion though, because on Campbell, like Amber DeSena is their third baseman who I coached at Iowa. And then Kat Cerna is their GA who was at
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
it was like Iowa, Iowa, Iowa. It was just like a crazy kind of homecoming for everybody to see, reunion for everybody to see. But yeah, no, it was fun. It was good, and I'm obviously glad. I'm glad we win no matter what. Again, we try not to focus on who's on the other side of the field. We just try to take care of us. But that one was pretty cool to obviously get the win.
It certainly was. Couple things before I let you go. MAC Conference gets going the weekend of March 13th. You open up against Western Michigan. A lot of people, myself included, I'm going to admit, have circled when you play Ohio. A lot of people, the voting in the preseason poll was very close between the two teams. There's a lot of good other teams. Akron is a team that a lot of people like as a sleeper. Buffalo with their first-year head coach, but they can hit a little bit. But Ohio, Jenna Hall is one of the best hitting coaches of mine as a head coach over there at Ohio. They got Skip back. They got a lot of players back. They're going to be gunning for you. Describe the MAC for those that don't know, MAC softball, because it's a grind, and then you're trying to get to Akron there and play at Firestone, which is one of the great softball facilities out there in the country.
I mean, the MAC, I think, isn't as respected as it should be. Um, there's some gritty teams. I mean, I know Toledo is having kind of a rough start, but they're good. They were really good last year. I think they led the conference in hitting and they returned a lot. Yeah, Akron, same thing. The record doesn't show it, but they're playing tough. And I think they're gonna figure it out. Craig's a great coach and Central's had some big games, this year. And so I really think just the MAC is, you just never know. Again, I just don't think it's respected enough. And, with Ohio, Jenna, our staffs are very close. In fact, our staff went to the Ohio football game when Miami played Ohio, and we hung out as staffs before, which was so cool, right? Like to have two staffs, especially as like rivals, hanging out before a football game and then going to the football game together. And they were victorious over us. But it was just a cool time to like hang out and collaborate and um, just again be friends off the field, I guess. And so, yeah, Jenna's a great coach. And again, we try not to focus on the other side. We just try to focus on what we can control and trusting our process and our scout. Um, but yeah, we are definitely that is one circled, right? They swept us last year, and that's a goal of ours is obviously to win every MAC series. And
It's a great matchup. I mean, it's an attract if it just as a casual fan, just speaking as a casual
yeah,
fan. And
yeah,
I just saw Ohio a couple weeks ago.
Skip
That's
is Skip is good. Like
yeah.
Skip she's one of the best in the country, and I'm so glad she decided to stay. And I'm sure she had plenty of offers, right? And opportunities to go elsewhere. And again, it's just like Jenna, right? Jenna and Chloe had ample opportunities to go elsewhere and they stayed loyal to their school. And that's something that I love that Skip did. She stayed loyal to Ohio and to Jenna, and I think that speaks volumes. And so I think it's going to be a fun matchup. We're a little bit stronger offensively this year, I think, and a little bit deeper, but she's probably got a little bit, another year under her belt, a little wiser, a little better herself. So it'll be fun. It'll be
Yeah.
fun.
No, and it's good for the league. I mean, you're obviously ranked in the D1 softball mid-major rankings as we are talking. Ohio certainly has been ranked before in that poll and might be again before we know it. So, and again, I think it's good for the league, and I think there's some positive momentum around the league overall. As far as what the competition is, because this league has produced a lot of great teams, players, and coaches, as you know. And I sense this in your voice that you've embraced that history at Miami there with the success they've had prior to there, with the coaches that they've had there in the league.
No, 100%. I mean, this Miami tradition and the Miami like legacy this has been set way before, way before I got here, way before other coaches got here. The foundation was built and each coach is just kind of built on top of it. And just continue to kind of sprinkle in their little pieces that makes it them. But the foundation has been strong. There's a reason why Miami's been so dominant, no matter who's coaching. But it's been a dream, honestly. It's really special. Miami just itself, obviously, our basketball team is kicking butt right now, and on the national stage, which is great for us. We're getting a lot of recognition. When we go places now, people are like, "Oh, Miami of Ohio, the basketball team," right? Instead of like, "Oh, are you in Florida?" Like you're coming from Florida. So that's been really cool. Like that all of our sports though are doing well. Baseball won the MAC last year, which was cool for me, right? My husband is on staff there, so like we both won a MAC championship our first.
Woo!
Yeah, which is like so cool. He got his ring the other day, so they're like
Do you
next to
guys compare rings?
yeah. I don't say compare, but they're next to each other, which is like just cool, that we were able to do that. And get both basketball teams are doing so well. Our men's team is in first place, our women's team is in first place. And as a coaching staff just around Miami, we are so tight knit. I mean, I'm constantly texting with the women's basketball coach, the football coaches, the baseball coaches. I mean, it's just cool to see how tight knit we are. And football is like the head football coach here is like Miami softball's biggest fan. He lets us like split the practice indoor with him, which I have never been out of school that's allowed that. So I love it because it's during our practice time. Like tomorrow, we're literally football's in half the disc and we're in the disc is our indoor, sorry. Football's in half of it and we're in the other half. And they like make it work for us so that we can still practice during our time because tomorrow it's supposed to snow again, which is crazy because we're in March. But yeah, it's just the camaraderie within the coaches here is just a special place and um I love it. Like the support
I
from
could sense that, yeah.
the support from administration. I mean, our athletic director is just on top of things. I mean, he texts me after every single weekend. He's following along. He congratulates me on good weekends, on good wins, like pretty much instantly after we win. So, I mean, that's really cool that he is so in tune with all of our sports. And I'm sure he does that with other, head coaches as well. But it's just cool to see that. And then our president of our university comes to our games and he heckles the umpires more than I do. I mean, he's like in the stands in the front row, just like screaming and yelling at them. And the umpires are like, hey, you need to calm that fan down. I'm like, that fan's our president. So tell him to calm down because I'm not. But
Fair.
no, he's great. They bring their dogs. Him and his wife bring their dogs and have their little they have a little baseball uniform on. It's the cutest. It's just cool to feel so supported. And I think again, that's another reason why Miami's been good for so long. Like when you have the support of administration and the university, who knows where you could take this thing, honestly.
No doubt. No doubt. That's a big
That's
key.
so cool. And I wish that all universities, right, supported softball the way that Miami does. I'm just really blessed and thankful that I'm in a place that does. So
No, it's tremendous. And you mentioned Travis Steele, men's basketball undefeated as we record this. It's March, so that's gonna be a lot of attention there with
I have a
what
home
they
game
do.
on today. So
Yeah,
I'm
very
glad.
good. Let me let you go on this. What are some things you want to work on and that it's going to be keys the rest of the year for you to accomplish your goals?
For us, it's just, our losses, we have four of them, and three of them we've shot ourselves in the foot. Like we have caused us to, I don't want to say lose, but like caused us to give up runs, caused us to just unfortunately come out not on the side we want. And so we just need to take care of the ball a little bit better. Defensively, we got a lot sharper this weekend. So that was really nice to see. From a pitching standpoint, we need to continue to limit the free bases. That was something that we really struggled with last year. I think this year we've done a really good job, but we got to continue limiting the free bases. And then offensively, just sticking with our plan and not letting an umpire zone dictate what pitches we swing at. Just sticking with the plan and not being defensive and just taking our hacks. And if we're playing good defense and we're limiting free bases from a pitching standpoint and we're taking our hacks, we're gonna have a lot of success. So
Folks, that is Miami head coach Mandy Gardner Colgate joining us here on In the Circle at D1 Softball powered by 643. Man, it was good catching up. If only you had more energy. You just had a long 8-hour bus ride. I understand energy. I know, just leading there. Listen, I'm proud of you. I'm excited for you. You know that. I've enjoyed getting to know you over the years and excited for the success you've had to this point. We wish you more success. Seriously, thanks for taking the time. You just had an 8-hour bus ride from Columbia, Missouri to get back to Miami here, but you took the time to talk to us and always appreciate that. We'll be in touch. And thanks for doing this always here on In the Circle.
no, thank you so much for having me. I had a blast.